Andrew Tate got interviewed by BBC lady. Now the BBC lady is hate bombed, so she closed her Twitter account. Everyone is laughing at that interview. In one day or something like that, the interview got 3 million views on YouTube, the full interview, which is very rare. So the BBC lady started by reading up some of the allegations against Andrew Tate. He's manipulating women and statements of witnesses. Then the BBC lady shifted topics and started talking about, well, the issue is much broader than that, because children's organizations and the police are worried about you, Andrew Tate, and the things that you say. Then she came with a long list of statements that Andrew Tate has said at some podcast sometime, and Andrew Tate sort of defended himself against each of the statements, which were taken completely out of context with only one reason: to paint Andrew Tate as the negative guy, the bad guy. And so what are my thoughts on this? I made a short TikTok on the subject matter. Not only did BBC completely lose the interview, it's also so funny that, BBC, which is British media, takes some kind of moral high ground. Piers Morgan did the same thing towards Andrew Tate. He attacks Tate and has this British colonial attitude that I'm the master. I'm gonna judge you now to be the bad guy, Andrew Tate. Oh well, what did the British do in India? What did the British do in colonial Africa? Didn't BBC support apartheid? Didn't BBC report that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction? Now, how many hundreds of thousands of people in Iraq died because BBC and other mainstream media said Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, which comes from Colin Powell. So it's funny that the colonizer of colonizers kind of takes the moral high ground against Andrew Tate, who said some shit sometime. I mean, he's a relatively young guy, sort of my age, tough guy, a little bit G and so on. The bigger picture here is that, the world is changing. African people are rising. The youth in Africa is educated and they are awake. They know history. They know their roots. They know what Britain did. They know what France did. So when you stop believing in the Matrix has no power anymore. And it's funny, 2023, when BBC and CNN has lied for so long about so many things, the older generation, like the BBC lady, she's outdated on how aware and awakened the youth is. The youth know more than the elders in the West. And when you know more than them, they can't control you anymore. And when you don't believe in their narratives anymore, you're free. And that is what we are seeing. We are seeing a liberation. We are seeing a massive awakening. And I don't agree that everything that Andrew Tate says, but he's definitely a human being. I mean, BBC and CNN should not take any moral high ground whatsoever related to anything. It's just a sign that the world has changed, and these old colonial, the West has democracy kinds of narratives doesn't work anymore with the enlightened youth. Those are my thoughts. Assalamu alaikum.